Our next guest has just introduced legislation that would require the Department of Defense to issue a directive permitting members of the armed forces to carry military-issued firearms on bases and recruitment facilities. Joining us, Congressman Scott DesJarlais, a member of the Oversight and Government Reform and Foreign Affairs Committee. And Congressman, what's this legislation going to do? And can you do this as a member of the legislative branch?
Yeah, we can and we need to. The Department of Defense issued a directive, as you said, in 1992, which stripped our military of the ability to carry firearms on bases and recruiting offices such as this. And it's a shame it takes a tragedy like we just saw in Chattanooga to get things moving. But let's not miss this opportunity, because we've had at least 20 attacks similar to this over the past 20 years. A lot of people are familiar with Fort Hood shooting or the Naval Yard shooting, and we need to be able to give our military men and women a fighting chance in this situation. They're trained to carry firearms, and in this case, we need to give them the ability to protect themselves.
Yeah, and there was a recruiting center in Little Rock, I believe, also, where there was a fatality a couple of years ago. Look, I fully support what you're doing, but I asked the question because of the fact that the commander-in-chief is over in the executive branch. Can you step on his authority?
Well, I don't even know that we're stepping on his authority. This was a Department of Defense directive, and I think that Congress needs to lead in this situation and go on record and show that people all across the country think that, this is literally a no-brainer, that these folks ought to be armed. And I think that what we're seeing here is a bipartisan groundswell of support on this. I actually co-introduced the legislation with my colleague from Memphis, Steve Cohen, a Democrat, and the entire Tennessee delegation is on board. We're getting calls from across the country, really, and around the state, urging that we move on this. So I think that the president will see that this issue transcends partisanship and covers really the entire spectrum of Congress here, and we need to stand up for those that defend us abroad and to let them defend themselves here at home.
Well, for heaven's sakes, it's armed forces should be armed. I mean, it's right in their name. I saw a report today that somebody said, well, I don't know if people will be comfortable with in their neighborhoods with these recruiting offices. I'm going, the people that they want to recruit are coming into the recruiting offices, want to be part of the armed forces. They want to go out and learn how to shoot guns and missiles or whatever it is that they're going to be doing in the military. I think it would be a plus, not a minus.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And right now the perception is, especially after shootings like this, that this is truly a soft target. And I think people would think twice about attacking a military establishment or a recruiting office if they knew that people could defend themselves and were armed. So I agree with you and what you're saying. I think that is a draw, not a detraction.
Well, the other, if I may, is take the sign off the front door that says no guns allowed in here. I mean, that's an advertisement saying we are a soft target. There it is.
Yep. No, exactly right. Can't disagree with that. That needs to go as well.
What is the? You've got a number of governors, though, and they run their own National Guards in each one of their states, and you've got 6 or 7 governors already saying we're going to get these guys armed. So, can you jawbone some of the other governors out there?
I mean, the one thing we don't want to see is a copycat and see something happen again in the immediate aftermath. So, I applaud the governors for doing this, but what we need is a permanent fix, and I think that's what this legislation will do.
Do you have any pushback? Do you have any opposition?
I've had really no opposition that I can think of, just people really encouraging us to move this forward. And so, for all the listeners tonight, if they can call their congressmen around the country, urge them to sign on to this bill, I think we can make it happen.
Well, I certainly support you, and I hope people do take your suggestion. Congressman Scott DesJarlais, thank you so much from the Chattanooga area.